Hello and welcome back to an all-new episode of the Couch Brotato Podcast. On today's show, I'm joined by my special guests Jen and Jackson to dive into the blood-soaked world of Terrifier. Join us as we break down our favorite scenes, the most memorable kills, and all the gut-wrenching moments that make this horror film a modern cult classic. Get ready for some spine-tingling insights and unfiltered reactions to Art the Clown's nightmarish rampage right now on the Couch Brotato Podcast.
What if that guy did this to your car?
What guy? The clown? You really think someone slashed my tires?
Well, he knows this is your car. He saw us getting into it earlier.
Hey, handsome!
Cut it out.
My friend wants your number.
Kill you.
What is it, Tara?
Dawn and I are sort of stranded. She has a flat tire and no spare, and I was kind of hoping you could pick us up.
Now is just remain calm and stay on the line with me until the police arrive.
What the hell is wrong with you?
What, did you think he was gonna hack me up into little pieces or something?
Hello and welcome back to an all-new episode of the Couch Brotato Podcast, a show where friends talk about their favorite movies. My name is Russ. My co-host Adam, who's normally joining me on each and every episode, is not available this week, so I had to scour the earth for two suitable replacements, and I had to look no further than my own home. So I want to welcome back to the show the First Lady of the Couch Brotato Podcast. Jen, how are we doing this evening?
I'm great, Russ. How are you?
I'm doing well, and I also brought along the Brotato Tot. My son Jack is back on the show. What's going on, buddy?
Howdy, y'all. How we doing?
I hope everyone's doing well. I ask you to both pick a movie that we could talk about. This was supposed to come out on Halloween, but unfortunately we did have some technical issues, so we had to redo the episode. So this is a little past Halloween, but hey, still in the spirit. Scary times we live in nowadays, so any time's a good time for a horror movie. So I ask you two to pick a scary movie to talk about on the show, and I don't know if you both agreed to it, or Jen, you just decided to let Jack pick since he loves this movie so much, but we are doing Terrifier today. What led you to come up with this one? Jen, I'll let you start first.
Well, Jack and I kind of talked about it together. He suggested Terrifier initially. I agreed because it's a great movie. I like it. It's fun. You like it. We all together like it. So great time to discuss it.
Jack, what about you?
The reason I chose this movie is because the comedy in this movie, the goriness, and just the overall atmosphere of this movie. It's just amazing.
Good deal. And I guess it is a good time considering that part 3 is currently out in theaters and doing incredibly well at the box office. I think last time I checked, it was close to $60 million, which is incredible for an independent horror movie that cost probably little to nothing to make. So you said that you like the gore and the comedy aspect. I mean, it's not really a comedy per se, but what makes it an amusing movie to you?
It's just sometimes, like, art doesn't speak, obviously, but when the characters do speak, it's usually something funny. Like at the end of the movie, that coroner and those people, that was probably the funnier part of the movie, in my opinion. But besides that, it's mainly the goriness that I enjoy.
Okay. I know I usually ask our guest when it's the first time they've seen this, but you had to have seen this because of your mom and I's recommendation. Or was this something I've noticed with Art the Clown? He seems to be just as famous on TikTok because he's become quite the popular like template for like reels and stuff like that. A lot of people create like little TikTok and Instagram reels videos based on some of his facial expressions from this movie. Is that where you were introduced to him for the first time, or was it this movie?
No, I was actually recommended the movie by you guys because you guys were talking about Terrifier 2, and since there's an original, I thought I would watch it, and now I fell in love with Terrifier 1 and Terrifier 2, and I have yet to see Terrifier 3.
Well, we're gonna make that happen here soon. What about you? What was first like? How did you hear about this movie?
I think I heard about this movie from you. We didn't go and see it in theaters. I believe it came out in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't even know if it was showing around here.
Probably not.
Because it was a limited run. It was more in like art house type theaters, right? It was.
I don't think it really had much of a, like it might have played it like a weekend or something like that. Just I know it had a very limited distribution.
Gotcha.
Run.
Yeah, I think we watched it together here at the house, and I just really enjoyed it. It reminded me of like old campy 80s horror movies in a way, especially with the gore. Like the special effects obviously are a lot better than what they had back then, but it did remind me of that, of the very gory horror movies from the 80s. The original Nightmare on Elm Street, the bed scene where there's just like Johnny Depp's character, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't he explode and it's just like blood everywhere?
He gets sucked under the bed.
That's it. And I mean, it kind of like, I guess if I had to immediately think of a horror movie from the 80s that had a lot of gore, that would be it. But it's just it's very campy. It's very, I could at some point see it becoming a cult classic.
I think it already has become.
Is it? You think it's at that level already? Okay. But yeah, I really enjoy it. It's just a very fun movie for what it is.
I know for me, like I listened to, I have a regular rotation of podcasts I listen to, and I listen to Talk is Jericho quite frequently. And I remember there was an episode, I think it was a couple of years ago, he had the director Damien Leone on his show, and they were talking about this movie, and I was kind of curious about it then. So I think I came to you and told you, like, there's a movie about a killer clown. We should check it out. I just dig it. It's real gritty, and it doesn't look like they put a ton of money to create like a grittiness to it. It looks like it's just, hey, we're in a shitty abandoned factory. Let's work with it. I just like how gritty it is. Plus it really has a lot of the slasher vibes from the 80s.
Absolutely.
And actually thinking about it now, I think Art the Clown is kind of like your generation's like Freddy Krueger. Cause I know like me being like in the 70s, a 70s and 80s kid, I kind of grew up with Michael Myers and Jason. Those were my two guys originally. And then Jen, you being younger than I am, you kind of, Freddy's your guy, if I'm not mistaken, right? That's kind of like...
Freddy Krueger is my guy, and I also, Jason Voorhees also.
Yeah, and then after those two, there really isn't much in the like the iconic slasher characters.
Not really.
I mean, I think Jigsaw is probably about it for like, within the last 20 years until Art the Clown came out.
Well, Ghostface.
Well, he's more of the 90s.
Oh, yeah. That's
but like
true.
From like
true.
2000s until now, it's
yeah.
pretty much been Art and Jigsaw. I'm probably missing somebody, but...
for the most part, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just like, I think we had been missing like that iconic slasher character.
Mm-hmm.
in horror for quite a long time, and I just love that he is. These movies are really like I don't know if any of you guys listen to or watch The Simpsons, but there's a cartoon within the show called Itchy and Scratchy.
Mm-hmm.
And if for those of you that don't know The Simpsons, Itchy and Scratchy is like a cartoon where it's kind of like a Tom and Jerry knockoff, but they kind of take the violence over the top. I mean, you'll see Itchy he gets like skinned alive. He has acid poured on him. He has fire ants eat him alive. I mean, just this really like grisly ways for anybody to go. It happens in a kid's cartoon. That's kind of what it reminds me of. It just the violence is so outlandish in these movies that it just reminds me of a cartoon.
Yeah, I could see that.
But yeah, I really like the pick. I think this was a really cool movie. It's right now I can tell you where it's streaming at in the tail of the tape, but let's get into these categories. I'm kind of curious to dig in and hear what you guys have to think of, like your favorite stuff about the movie.
Okay.
For those of you that don't know what Terrifier is, first off, I do want to forewarn you that if you have not seen this movie yet, we are going to be spoiling some of it. So if you have not seen this yet, wait till we get through the tail of the tape, go watch it, come back and listen to the episode. But for those of you that are kind of curious to know what this is about, Terrifier is a story of a crazy clown who stalks and tries to kill 3 women in a wretched apartment building on Halloween night. Pretty simple plot, right?
Yep.
Gets right to it. But the tail of the tape, this movie was released unrated, didn't have a rating at all, which I was kind of curious about. If I thought it was rated R for the longest time, and then like I happened to, when I was researching this, it's like apparently it was unrated, like the second and the third one.
If it was given a rating, though, what do you think it would be?
Oh, it would have definitely been an R.
You don't think it would be NC-17? No? Oof.
I think 2, and I don't know about 3, but I'm sure those probably would have gotten that.
Yeah.
But they release it unrated. It works a little bit better in your favor because I don't know.
It's more open for interpretation, maybe?
Well, if you release a movie NC-17, you really limit your audience. They have to be 17 in order to get in.
Right.
Whereas an unrated movie, it's like, I don't know. I guess it's up to the discretion of the movie theaters.
Yeah.
I mean, you see like a killer clown on your poster, you kind of have an idea. If this is unrated, it's probably pretty violent.
Yeah. Agreed.
This was released on March the 15th, 2018. It stars Jenna Cannell, Samantha Scafidi, and David Howard Thornton. Directed by Damien Leone. Rotten Tomatoes score of 60% from critics and 53% from audiences. The consensus from critics is all about the splashy kills. Terrifier artfully introduces the unpredictable massacre mime art, yet fails to carve an entertaining story worthy of his wrath. The box office budget of around $55,000, and it made $419,000, which of course 2 and 3 have gone on to make a ton more money than that.
Right.
So, didn't win any awards, and you can right now watch this on Tubi and the Cock for free. So,
Peacock,
yes. If you don't have a subscription to Peacock, you can watch it on Tubi. It's free on there. You just have to sit through the ads. Isn't that where you watched it at the last time?
Yeah, I originally watched 1 and 2 on Tubi.
All right, good deal. So yeah, just go, if you haven't seen the movie yet, just go to Tubi or Peacock, watch them and come back and listen to us.
or the Cock, either.
The Cock, yeah, just check out the Cock. The big cock. You guys go ahead and laugh. I don't care. I know you.
Is that your dad joke for the night?
Yeah. Well, we're recording this after daylight savings time, so I may not have my sharpest material tonight.
That's all right. We'll forgive you this time.
All right. Did you know these are some interesting and fun facts about the behind-the-scenes production of Terrifier? This is the second appearance of Art the Clown. He first appeared as part of a 2013 anthology film, All Hallows Eve. Jack, have you seen All Hallows Eve?
I've heard people talking about it after Terrifier 1 and 2 came out. I've never personally watched it, but I've heard about it. I haven't had the time to watch it because of school and everything. And then I had baseball, so
Yeah, school's overrated.
true.
Just watch this movie, then you could become the next Damien Leone.
Possibly.
Mike Gianelli, who played Art in All Hallows Eve, retired from the role and acting altogether due to how long it took the makeup team to apply the heavy prosthetics and the makeup.
Wonder if he's kicking himself in the ass now with how popular this whole franchise has gotten.
It could have. From what I've read, that David Howard Thornton seems to be a better fit for the role because he seems to kind of play into like Art, the silent, like as a mime character. He kind of really acts with his facial
His
expressions and his
yeah.
like body movements versus like what he said. Well, because he doesn't say anything at all. So I think it kind of makes him more terrifying. I don't know, like his thin appearance too kind of makes him look more menacing as well.
His what?
David Howard Thornton is very thin.
Oh, thin.
Gaunt.
How excuse me, how angular and whatnot his face is. Is that what you mean? Yeah. And he can like stretch it and it makes it look longer than what like mine would be. Or makes sense.
David Howard Thornton was the 6th person to audition for the role of Art the Clown. During his audition, he began miming tasting his beheaded victim's blood, but then added salt to improve its flavor. And that's what won him the role, apparently.
It's awesome.
Thornton, who portrays Art the Clown, also has mime experience. So I guess that, like I said, that kind of plays into what makes him so awesome on film.
So the first guy that played him, was he still a mime character at that point prior to Terrifier being made, or do you know?
Like, you mean a clown?
No. Like, I mean, the guy that originally played him in that anthology series, All Hallows Eve, or anthology movie, I should say, was Art the Clown still a miming clown, and that he still didn't have speaking parts in that either?
Yeah, as far as I know. I mean, like I haven't seen it either, but yeah, gotcha. I'm guessing that they really haven't deviated much from the formula.
I got you. Okay.
The scene in the pizza restaurant was originally meant to take place in a burger joint. But Damien Leone changed this when he realized that both Jenna Cannell and Catherine Corazon, she has the same name as that gal from Shark Tank. You pronounced it right when we did this the other day.
Corcoran. Is it Corcoran?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Corcoran.
But Catherine Corcoran are both vegetarian. I'm on a roll tonight. Like, I've already butchered 2 names.
It's all good. It's okay.
And I'm sure I'll get at least one more.
It's okay.
Will the Exterminator, played by Mike Levy, was also the Staten Island clown. This character apparently started the viral scary clown craze back in 2014. You know, like there was that internet phenomenon for like 3 or 4 months where like scary clowns were popping up all over the country. And
wasn't it all over the world, or was it just the country?
I think it was just the States.
Was it? Okay.
But he's the one that apparently started it.
The actor himself in real life. Okay. Gotcha.
That guy's, I don't know, he plays the Exterminator real weird, don't you think?
Yeah, he plays it kind of odd because he's kind of like a quiet rock type dude.
He's so nice. You wouldn't think he would be nice, but he's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I noticed. Did you notice that at all, Jack?
I noticed it a little bit, yeah.
Did you?
While looking for original horror scenes that have never been done on film before, the director and special effects creator read books about medieval forms of torture for inspiration. This eventually led to Dawn's death scene, which we will get to later on, but that was inspired by medieval torture methods that he read in books.
I know exactly which one he would have read about too. I can't remember the name of it, but.
And then finally, the last thing I got, there's a heavily edited version of this on YouTube that takes out the graphic violence and gore as well as the nudity. So I'm guessing this movie probably runs on YouTube about 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's probably just art and memes. Like, it's
the pizza joint scene where they're, they have the eye contact across the booths and different that part. And yeah.
That's all the fun facts I got. There really wasn't a lot to dig into on this one. Most of it I pulled from like interviews I'd listened to and our friends at IMDb. So there wasn't a ton to get into. But next category we got is the Martin Scorsese This Is Cinema Award for the best scene of the movie. Now, I am going to add a little bit of a twist to this one since I'm pulling out a new category for this particular movie. It can't be one of the death scenes.
Okay. Got it.
So I'm pulling, later on, we're going to introduce a category we'll use just for this movie called the gnarliest kill of the movie. So, I'll start off with mine. I really dug the pizzeria scene. Simply because a lot of the facial expressions that Art gives when he's interacting with the two girls have become internet sensations. Like they become memes and GIFs and TikTok videos. So that's why I'm going with that. It's kind of comical watching him essentially like kind of flirt with these two girls he's eventually going to try to kill.
Right.
But those are mine. That's pretty much about it. Most of the stuff pretty much is just setting up the kill. So, but I mean, what do you got, Jack? Like, what's your favorite sequence in the movie that doesn't involve killing?
Well, mine is when, I mean, it kind of is a kill scene, but it's kind of not. It's when he just shot Tara and Victoria walked in and he just smiled with the gun pointed at her head. Like he thought it was like a game or something.
Well, I think it kind of is because he's like a cat toying with a mouse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The thing I noticed about that scene when he shoots her, he almost looks like he's disappointed. He seems to really enjoy like the people he kills, but then when he shoots her, it looks like he'd almost kind of gotten tired of fighting with her because she put up such a fight.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just kind of like, okay, I'm just done with you. I just want to end this. And he just shoots her with a gun, which is kind of a cool twist for a slasher movie. They all have weapons. None of them have ever, like Jason and Michael Myers and Freddy, they've never used like guns. But then to see Art use a gun, and this is kind of a cool twist that we don't get with slasher movies. I mean,
yeah. When like every slasher movie I've watched, I've never seen somebody with a gun. Like in Terrifier 1 and 2, he always has a gun. Mm-hmm. Like not a bit of a spoiler, just be prepared. In Terrifier 2, he guns down a lot of people with a machine gun, aka like a Tommy gun.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I thought I'd never see a person in a slasher movie that has a gun, because I've really never seen that before.
Yeah, I mean, like, what, Michael Myers had a butcher knife, Jason has a machete, Freddy Krueger has his glove.
Claw hand or whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of cool to see him use a gun.
Mm-hmm.
What was your favorite sequence in the movie?
So mine is not a kill scene, but it takes place after. So does that exclude?
As long as it doesn't involve like an actual like kill, because
no,
that, like,
it doesn't. It doesn't. So after the cat lady gets killed, he Art skins her and he's dancing in front of, is it Tara?
No, it's
or is it the sister? It's Victoria, right? Okay. So he's dancing in front of her wearing basically the cat lady skin from the hair to the face, the shoulders, like pretty much her entire torso. And at first I thought that was Tara, and then Jack reminded me that it wasn't. It was the cat lady, because Tara was tied to the chair anyhow. But the way he was just dancing around, like Russ, what you're saying, like it's a game to him, and he was just reveling in his excitement of playing the game with somebody else, essentially. And it also gave me Buffalo Bill, Silence of the Lamb vibes. It gave me Ed Gein vibes, just the skin and him dancing around.
I kind of expected Goodbye Horses to start playing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, as morbid as that scene was, it was just really, I don't know if the director intentionally was trying to give the audience Ed Gein and or Buffalo Bill vibes, but it was kind of like a combination of the two. But then Art was still just being Art the Clown.
I think what makes the character kind of cool to me is you don't know what his motivation is for doing this. It just like,
Right.
you just kind of get thrown into this story of this killer clown, and then
Right. I
you're
mean,
just left to figure it out.
you see him and he doesn't have makeup on, and at the very beginning of the movie, you can kind of see his face a little bit, and he has that TV playing, and it's like he's going to his job for the day. He's putting on the outfit, he's putting on the face paint, around his lips. I don't know if his teeth are actually like that. I have no idea. But, the little hat and all that. And it's like, okay, I'm going for my 9-to-5 job or whatever. It's very odd. It's like, well, who is he? They just never tell you.
Apparently in part 3, they kind of dig in more into the lore of Art the Clown and his henchmen on like why he is what he, like kind of who he is and why he is how he is. So that's kind of another reason why I want to see it too.
Gotcha.
But good stuff, guys. I mean, I think it's just with this particular movie, it's kind of hard to pick like your favorite scene that doesn't involve like him killing somebody.
Right, because there's so much of it.
Yeah, it's pretty much, like I said, it's literally scenes that don't involve killing are just simply setups to get to that next murder. So,
right.
Yep.
The Andy Dufresne Get Busy Living or Get Busy Dying Award for the best or most quotable line of the movie. I know I didn't personally have anything because for me, it's typically you get the most quotable line from like the main character. And there really isn't, like, Art doesn't say anything at all.
Right.
And I don't think like the heroines are compelling enough to really have said anything worth like mentioning to me. So there's nothing that I had. I don't know if you guys had anything for like your favorite lines of the movie. Jack, did you have something?
I actually did. When it was near the end of the movie, I actually have two.
Okay.
So both of them are at the end of the movie. It was when they were getting the bodies after like the cops were called and everything. And the EMT, it was the dude, I believe, or it was the woman, which whatever of the two. She or he says, "How can you eat a greasy croissant while you're cutting up dead bodies?" And he said, "Sweetheart, I've been doing this 22 years. All right. Once you've seen an 8-month-old microwave to death, everything else is just old hat." And then my second one was after Art gives Tar the ring. Don says, "That's the nicest thing a guy's done for you all night."
Yeah, I could see that because I'm betting that they probably come back from a party. It's just like kind of a bunch of like a college Halloween party with a bunch of bro dudes that are pretty much just trying to get laid and weren't really in the mood for romance.
Literally.
And sorry to spoil it, but I do actually have another one. I actually had three.
Okay, hey, you know what?
You have three more, or you have three total?
Just 3 total.
Hey, you know what? You're making up for the one because I didn't have anything that stood out to me. So
when the cat lady said, "Can you help me, please?" and then Mike, the exterminator, said, "Who are you? How in the hell did you get in here?" I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah,
because he's never seen her before, and he's questioning why and how she got in there. So.
Yeah, and I mean, she's pretty much set up camp in there too. So, hey, good stuff, man. What about you?
So my favorite line was one of what Jack said. It's when Art is getting the getting the ring out of the gumball machine and hands it to Tara, and then Don says, "That's the nicest thing a guy's done for you all night." And I'm just like, that's not a lot to do for somebody. Like, what were they experiencing from wherever they were, the guys prior to that? Like, what was happening there? But like you said, college party, bro dudes, drunk.
Just trying to get laid.
Yeah.
And they'd forget about them a couple hours
Yeah, they'd give him a spiked drink versus a ring from a gumball machine type of thing. So I can see why she said that, yeah.
That's kind of a funny spin on it. It's just like the most creepy looking thing they've probably seen in months.
Right.
It was being super sweet to him in the beginning.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, there wasn't anything that stood out, so I couldn't really think of anything. Like, I'm sure there's a couple things in part 2 that I could probably name off that stood out a little bit better dialogue wise. But I mean, this isn't really a really great script, like in terms of like how well it's written and like, give your characters like good lines to, to work out and put out there on camera. Just like,
Right.
Let's just try to make the goriest thing possible so we can put this on film.
Right. Yep.
The McLovin Award for the best performance by a supporting player or the most memorable scene-stealing performance. I had the actress Puya Mohensi. She's the cat lady. I gave it to her just because she's the only one in this movie that really seems like she's trying to fucking act in it.
Is it the cat lady? Is that what you're talking about? Okay.
Yeah, she's
Gotcha.
she's playing something has definitely happened in her life to kind of set her on this path to where and I'm willing to bet she's probably lost a child.
Probably. Yeah.
Because she's caring for a doll baby, like a plastic doll, like it's a child.
Right.
She's surrounded by a bunch of cats,
Mm-hmm.
and she's living in an abandoned, I'm guessing it's an apartment complex or something, or
Looks like it. Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, just the stuff that she's like, the lines she's throwing out there, and the performance, you can see kind of just by looking at her that she's not all the way there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, not at all.
But I mean, she's the only one that looks like she's really like, hey, I'm in a stage production of Macbeth. I really gotta act the shit out of this one, so I'm gonna go.
Right.
So I mean, that was it for me, just because she looks like she's kind of in a different movie,
Mm-hmm.
performance wise, compared to everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
What about you,
Agreed.
Jack?
Mine was actually a little bit surprising. Mine was the coroner, Corey Duvall. I liked his performance for the little amount of time he was there.
Mm-hmm.
Who's that?
He was the coroner.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Is that because he gave the lines you like the best?
Yeah, and he said something else that was pretty funny to me.
Was it the cholesterol? What about your cholesterol? I'm watching it go up. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
He did look like he was kind of beat red and sweaty in that too.
Mhm.
So I'm
Yeah.
surprised he's not had a heart attack yet before.
Yeah, and he was like, I'm the MD here when those paramedics that brought the bodies in were getting on him. He's like, I'm just watching it go up, but I'm the MD here.
Yeah, I thought he was pretty funny for the 5 or 6 minutes that he played.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What about you, Jen? Did you have a performance that stood out?
Mine was actually, let's see, what was his name? Steve, that owned the pizzeria. His and let me preface that by saying his acting was horrible. It was not good. It was not good acting. It was over the top. At times it was very dull. But what I liked about him, he gave a hell of an effort to try and protect Tara and Don. He played the badass role of kicking Art out of the restaurant when Art went and did the poop smearing in the bathroom or blood, whatever the hell it was.
That was
And-
shit.
Was it all shit? Oh,
was all human.
well, it was bloody shit. And he got kicked out. Steve acts like a badass, and then he throws what is probably body parts in a large black trash bag out on the street. And he's like, and you stay out, or whatever he did. And then he just ends up getting killed right along with many other people. So it's, his chivalry did him no good in the end whatsoever.
Right. Did they ever show what was in that bag? 'Cause I know, I'm guessing he had some of his weapons in there, but do you think it was body parts too?
I think it was a combination of both, because it's like when he tossed it down, you didn't really hear it clink. It was kind of like a squish, like a soft kind of sound.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was a mixture of both.
Yeah. Is that what you think, Jack?
I think it was some was body parts, but I think mainly most was tools, because you see in Terrifier 2 when he goes that woman that gets skinned, I don't know her name, when he goes to trick or treat and he opens the bag and you look down and there's just a bunch of tools. But I also think there's a mixture of body parts in there, like my mom said,
Yeah.
that there was a squishing instead of a clank. Yeah, I think it was a mixture of
Does
both.
does he have just a black trash bag in the second one also?
Yeah,
He always carries around everywhere?
he always carries a black trash bag everywhere.
That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
Well, if we could have pulled off Art the Clown for you for Halloween, that's totally what you would have went trick-or-treating, like to get your candy would have been a black trash bag.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right, now the next category I got is the one that I've been looking forward to the most to talk to you guys about. This is the gnarliest kill of the movie. This is your favorite kill sequence in the movie. Now, I think there's one that really stands out. That's probably the most notorious one in this. I don't know if this is going to be your guys' favorite, but Jack, I'll start with you. Like, what was your favorite kill scene in the movie?
It was when Dawn was talking because she thought Tara was in the car, but it was really Art. And he kidnapped Tara and Dawn, and he had Tara, her eyes were closed and stuff, and he had Dawn upside down, and when he almost cut her in half, I thought for the money that was in there, I thought it was pretty gory.
Oh, so your pick is where he saws her in half with a hacksaw?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the most grisly one. And you know what's funny about that? Is that's not the first time I'd seen that in a movie. There's a Kurt Russell Western called Bone Tomahawk. I think it come out maybe a year or two before this one. And it's basically this group of this posse tries to save these kidnapped girls from they're called troglodytes. They're kind of like a savage tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where they all get captured by the troglodytes and they saw somebody in half with an axe.
Lord.
Cut them right in half.
Ugh.
And I thought that was I was like, oh fuck, I've never seen anything like this before. Then Terrifier shows up again.
Did they cut? Because in Terrifier, he didn't cut Dawn all the way through.
Yeah,
He got to part of the head and he just stopped.
Yeah.
In that movie, did they cut them all the way through?
Yeah, he completely in half.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. And that was really weird to see that in a Western.
Yeah, especially in a Western movie, because Western is just, they're in the desert and they're just shooting at people in an old classy town.
It's classy violence.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at.
Jen, what was your favorite kill of the movie?
My favorite kill of the movie was when Art got the second exterminator. I don't believe they provided his name because his character was so minor, but he basically, if I'm not mistaken, grabbed him by his head and just started cutting into his head.
Well, he stabbed him in the ear.
Was it the ear? Is that what it was?
He was stunned, and then he basically decapitates him.
Right, but doesn't he cut? Oh, he cuts his head off. Okay, I was thinking for some reason he went down the middle on his head, but that's not right. He, like you said, basically decapitates him, and he doesn't do it all the way. It's so much, and then he shoves his head back, so it almost looks like he has the second monstrous looking throat, and you can see everything. You can see his esophagus. You can see his spinal cord. I mean, it's so gross. And it almost, at some point, looks like he's almost trying to make a ventriloquist dummy out of his second throat. But yeah, I just thought that was pretty friggin' gruesome.
I'm surprised he didn't try that.
What's that?
Yeah.
Try to carry that head around and
Right. Yeah.
The funny part in that kill was, for me, after he got done cutting his head off, he punted it like it was a football.
Yeah.
That's what got me cracking, was he didn't care. He just punted it.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to like keeping trophies from his kills. He just likes to make somebody as less of a human as he possibly can. You know what? It's almost like he can't stand to have anyone look like a human after, a simple shoot them, that's it, right? It's he has to completely destroy their body or make it into, what Jack said, a toy or a sports object or what have you, to have full satisfaction from his kills.
Mhm.
So it's very him. I mean, he's just very whimsical in the way that he
Sadistic,
does
yeah.
things. Yeah. Yep.
For me, my favorite kill scene was the cutting in half,
Yeah.
just because that was incredibly like gruesome. And a fun fact about that scene too is they created a silicone, like they basically molded like a body around that actress
Mm-hmm.
to like basically to use for the cutting in half.
Mm-hmm.
And they forgot to put some kind of coating on her body to where they could just peel this off naturally,
Mm-hmm.
or it comes off easy. Well, they didn't do that, and I guess that silicone got stuck to her.
Oh my
and
gosh.
they had a hell of a time trying to get that off of her.
Wow.
And to where she almost had to go to the ER.
Holy shit. Could you imagine like one of the ER, like, I need to get this silicone suit off of me? Yeah. Like,
Can you imagine like if you suffer for like if you're claustrophobic and have,
oh my gosh. No, I am claustrophobic. So no way.
have a panic attack?
Nope.
during that?
Probably would.
Probably.
Yeah. Ugh. No, thank you.
But yeah, my favorite sequence is the cutting half of Dawn. I will give an honorable mention though to what was the pizzeria, like Mike's?
Steve.
Steve. They used his head as a jack-o'-lantern, which is,
Yes.
I do like that one because it's kind of
Yes.
an ode to Halloween.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep.
so I mean, I'll give that an honorable mention, but mine was definitely like the cutting in half because I think that was fucking hardcore.
Absolutely.
And I would imagine that chainsaw or that hacksaw was probably, I'm gonna guess it's probably rusty, so it probably didn't like cut
Right.
super clean. It probably like,
Right.
took forever. So
Ugh.
yeah, that was my favorite one. But both excellent picks, though, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Let's see. The Indiana Jones. It belongs in the Museum Award for the prop you'd most want for your personal collection from this movie. I would personally want Art's suit.
Like the hat, the suit, the shoes,
The whole nine.
the whole shebang. Okay.
Put it in one of them shadow boxes.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'd prefer to have it with the movie blood
Okay.
versus before
Makes
that.
sense. Yeah.
What about you? Is there something from this movie you want? Now, for this category, we try to have it to where it's something you could fit into your living room or like a room, not like, so you can't pick like a car or
Okay.
a tank or an air, something like that.
This might seem weird. I would want the little top hat that he wears because I would just wear it around. Even if it had blood on it, I would
I
still
don't
wear
think
it.
that's weird.
I mean,
It's part of the costume.
I think the top hat's the coolest part of the costume, actually. So I think that's a really good choice.
another one, like an honorable mention, would be the dude that you were talking about that gets his head cut off. I would want this the exterminator suit.
The exterminator suit. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say I want the severed head.
No.
That'd be kind of a cool prop too. I
It
mean,
would, because I mean, it's just like silicone. So,
You'd have to hide that from like when your grandparents came over.
oh yeah, they'd freak the fuck out.
Yeah. Well, I think.
What is that?
I mean, unless you knew us well enough, that would pretty much freak everybody.
True.
Like,
Yeah.
Grandma, that's a silicone head.
Yeah, can you imagine like was that the people that sell the vacuum cleaners, Kirby?
Oh,
Like one of them guys came in
jeez.
to like test, give us a test run on a vacuum cleaner, and they see like a severed head.
Yeah, we got a severed head and Art the Clown suit in a shadow box or with friggin' blood all over it. And if they don't know who Art the Clown is, and I'm sure some people don't, they'd be like, what kind of weird shit are they into?
Mhm.
They might call the cops. I mean, who the hell
Yeah, I was
knows?
like, I think they killed somebody.
Yeah.
Am I next? I'll just leave the Kirby vacuum cleaner here.
Yeah. Yours on the house. I'll just do a tax write-off.
Yeah, that's how we get a free. Hey, that's not a bad idea. We'll do that and get a free Kirby vacuum
Yeah.
cleaner. Some things are expensive.
They're like a couple grand.
Yeah.
Lord, for a vacuum?
Mm-hmm.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it used to be people would sell them, like they would go door to door and sell them.
Oh.
And they'd give you a demo. They'd vacuum your house.
That's how my mom got her Kirby. And apparently it's good for like life, or they'll replace it. And apparently I inherit that. I'm like, I don't want that janky ass vacuum. Okay. I don't want it. They're heavy. They take bags. They're old technology. No thanks. Just saying.
Well, Bev, if you listen to this, I'll take the Kirby.
Have at it.
What about you? Is there a prop that you want? I mean, there's no Kirby vacuum cleaners in this.
No, there's not. So mine is one of Jack's. I have two, and it's a tie. I can't really say one's an honorable mention, but Art the Clown's top hat, because I think it's super cute. I love it. And then the tricycle that he rides.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the tricycle that he rode.
Was that it looked like it was like a little motorized.
It could have been. It looked like a little tricycle type thing to me, but I would like put the top hat on one of the handlebars. That's how I think I would display it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know if it was motorized or what it was, but it looked like it was some kind of tricycle. I could be wrong with that, but that's what it looked like from what I remember.
I like that. Because, I'd get bored and hop on that thing and slide sometimes too.
Yeah.
Why not?
I could totally see you doing it.
Oh, most definitely.
Get Marley and take her for a little spin.
Yeah, take her down to the dog store or a pet store, or one of those two. Or PetSmart. I call it a pet store. PetSmart, I meant.
Oh, yeah, most PetSmart's a national chain. They would know what it is.
But I do have another honorable mention, but another one. It's that little horn that he uses that squeaks.
Oh, dude.
Oh, yeah.
That's the winner right there is the horn.
Yeah. Does he use that? Is it only on the bike, or does he have a horn that he holds and squeaks?
He has a horn that he holds.
Okay, that's right.
He's squeezing it. When I think he's going after Victoria, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, he's like going... Yeah, it's when the scene where she goes to that door that's held together with the chain, and he's like reaching for her. He takes that horn. He's just going here.
Oh yeah, that was a.
He's taunting her almost with it.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And then she just looks over and he's gone. It's like he's magic.
Well, I think because he went to go steal the truck.
He's definitely inhuman. I mean, he's not a normal person.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that.
He most definitely has mental issues. I can tell.
Jack, I think you won that category just because,
that's a good one.
The horn and the hat, put them in a shadow box. Call it a day.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yep, and it takes up less space in an entire.
That's true.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, horn and the hat. Those are awesome picks.
Yep.
The next category is the John Williams Award for Best Use of Music in the Movie. I didn't have a particular song or anything, but I think the score's really, really good. It kind of has Halloween vibes because they use the synthesizer a lot, especially
true.
I call it the Art the Clown theme. It's just that yeah, it just kind of has a Halloween-esque type of vibe to it. So I kind of dig that. Either one of you guys have any like kind of music numbers that
I didn't have any music numbers. No,
I didn't either. Probably just the one that you said.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought the score itself kind of has like a Halloween type of vibe. Which,
right.
For those of you that know me, Halloween's my all-time favorite horror movie. So anytime I can give that a shout out, I will. But yeah, it has Halloween vibes to it. I really dig it.
Agreed.
Now, I don't know if either one of you have been on the show since we kind of amended this category a bit, but we call this the Hall of Fame Award for Career Achievement. And I'll give you a list of names or like ideas or things involving this movie, whether it would be in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
So with this here, Damien Leone, the director, would this be his crowning achievement of his career?
Well, are we talking about like the movie or like the series together?
Anything in his particular career.
The series of Terrifier, yeah, that marks down definitely in my books in the Hall of Fame.
Would you say it would be this one? Because I would say it would be Terrifier 2.
Oh, I didn't know we were talking about specific movies. Yeah, definitely Terrifier 2, but I've heard Terrifier 3 is more gorier than Terrifier 2.
Well, I say Terrifier 2 because Terrifier 2 was only supposed to originally have a weekend theatrical run, and then it was going directly to streaming. But then it started garnering national attention because people were apparently getting sick in the theaters watching this movie. And then its run expanded. And then it got expanded another week. And then pretty much, I think it ran through the entire month of October.
Wow.
And it became like a viral hit just because oh my God, people are getting sick because this movie's so gory. I got to go run and see it, what all this is about.
What year did that come out, the second one?
A couple of years ago. It's like 2018. No, it was 22.
It was?
So it came out 4 years after the first. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was 2022 is when Terrifier 2 came out.
Got you.
So I would say it would be Terrifier 2. I don't know about what you would think, because Damien Leone's only done the Terrifier series and All Hallows Eve.
Oh, okay. So there's not a lot to go on. I haven't seen All Hallows Eve, but I mean, based on what you mentioned about All Hallows Eve, what it is, and the fact that it has the previous Art the Clown in it. And if we're going between 1 and 2, 3 I haven't seen, I would say 2, honestly. Yeah.
You think so too?
I think there's more of a storyline in that. And I like the gore, and the kills are very creative in that as well.
Mm-hmm.
The bedroom scene in Terrifier 2 is one of the most creative kills I've probably seen.
What is it again, dude?
The bedroom scene where she is skinned alive and she's somehow still alive.
Yeah. That is fucking brutal for sure.
Or it's when crap, I can't think of it.
I haven't seen Terrifier 2 for a while, so
yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it too.
Well, we're all in agreement that Terrifier 2 is, if Damien Leone got into the Hall of Fame for on our show today, it would be for Terrifier 2.
Definitely.
21st century horror franchises. So that would basically be like a group of horror movies that have come out since 2000. So we pretty much have this. We have Saw. Scream has came back since 2000. Didn't Paranormal Activity come out in the 2000s?
yes, it did.
There was one movie that I seen. I don't remember what it was called. But there's basically these people, they're locked in an apartment building. It's pretty much like Terrifier, but there's not a creepy clown, obviously. But there's like a disease going around, and the building is locked to where people outside can't get in. And if you get the sickness, you turn ravaged pretty much. Like it's kind of like rabies, but you turn inhuman. Pretty much.
Are you talking about that Asian, that Japanese? I think it was a Japanese.
I think it's Korean.
Film. Was it a Korean film I was watching where that guy was stuck in his high-rise apartment building for like weeks?
That was a zombie movie. I don't remember.
Are you talking about 28 Days Later?
No, it was that movie that you're talking about. That was called Alive. It's where him and that girl are stuck in an apartment building.
Oh, I'd have to look it up, buddy. I don't remember off the top of my head. I've seen so many horror movies in my life.
Well, what about you? Do you think this is in the Hall of Fame for 21st century horror franchises?
Oh, absolutely.
You think?
Yeah, absolutely. Is it in the what again?
The Hall of Fame for like basically the best franchises of the horror franchises for the 21st century.
Yeah, absolutely.
What would be your case for it?
My case?
Yeah, I'm just curious to see why you would think it'd be in there.
Well, my case would be that it's very different than a lot of the horror movie franchises that have been done in the 2000s. When I think of the 21st century, rather, horror movie franchises, I think of, they brought back Scream. It was redone. It was, in the 90s. You had the Insidious movies. You had I'm trying to think of it. You had the like the Annabelle series, and then you had the spinoffs of those. You had the Amityville Horror. They remade that. So you had a lot of the oh gosh, I'm losing their names. The Medium, Amityville Horror, the ones that investigated Lorraine and
The Conjuring.
Yes, but what's her last names? Warren, thank you. You had a lot of the movies that the Warrens did, and they turned that into a lot, or rather, they turned that into kind of a whole like universe almost with Annabelle and with The Conjuring, and with
The Nun.
The Conjuring 2, The Nun. Didn't they make a second Nun? Yeah. So, I mean, you had all that, but that to me is like typical, it's been done before, but in a different way kind of a thing. And with it, this is just different. Like, it's hard to express how it's different. You know, it's very modern, but at the same time, it looks like these movies rather look like they could have been done in the 70s if you take away the cell phones and the more modern cars, or it looks like it could have been done in the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, or even now. And I think that's what I really like about it, is that it doesn't per se stick to a specific time period besides like the technology, the vehicles, you know, things like that. And then the fact that it is so gory and it reminds you of old, I don't want to say old timey, but, you know, special effects from the 80s and 90s. It reminds you of that, but they're a lot better. They're more polished. And then, you know, you have this you said sadistic earlier. I said whimsical. See, if you put those together, it's like whimsical sadism. I don't know if that's a thing, but that's what this would be, this franchise. And then you just have a clown, which for people who hate clowns, I used to be scared to death of clowns. I'm not anymore. But this is something that would almost like cause you to get over your fear of clowns. You know, if you watched movies like I did when I was a kid, like It with Pennywise and such, because he's so comedic that how can you not help but love him?
Mhm.
So, I don't know if that answered your question, but
I mean, you made your case on why you think that it is. I am going to say no.
Okay.
Simply because I don't think they've been successful enough in terms of like, they're not in, I mean, for us, the three of us sitting here at the table, we're movie fans. The two of you are especially, you know, fans of the horror genre.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were to go and ask the casual person, they probably have never heard of these movies. And I think that has.
Yeah. I mean, I see your perspective. I speak more so from my personal opinion. Do I think it belongs there? Yes. Is it perhaps
Well, let me rattle off some franchises that have started in the 2000s and see if you would put them above that. Did you have a point?
Yeah, I did have a couple. There was a movie called Brightburn. It was made in 2019.
Oh yeah, that James Gunn produced that. The guy who did the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
It had. I'm looking on Google right now. If you guys are wondering, it had 274 kills in it. So there's that. And then
they only made one of those though.
Yeah. Another one that was pretty gory is the Purge franchise.
Oh yeah, see, I was gonna rattle that one off as one of the ones that I would see if you would put above that, because you had the Conjuring series, you had the Insidious series, which I blame you for me liking those so much. I thought they were gonna look like junk, and you said you need to watch it. I watched it and fell in love with it.
Yep, I was right.
The Purge series, you had Final Destination came out.
True.
In the 2000s. You had The Ring.
Yep.
First two good. That third one, not so much. You had the Paranormal Activity movies, which took what the Blair Witch Project done and kind of fine-tuned it.
Right.
And turned that into at least, 4 or 5 of those?
Oh my gosh. At least. There could have been more, but at least 4 or 5. Yep.
And then there's the Quiet Place series. They made 3 of those too. Well, those are actually very good movies.
They are good movies.
Yeah, they are pretty good movies.
So I don't know if I could put Terrifier quite on the level of those, simply because it's too underground.
Well, for me, that's why.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't, if you're talking about the general public, no. For me, it is because of the fact it is more underground. Not everybody has heard of it, but then I feel like once people do see it, they're like, damn, I really like that. Like, I had never heard of it until you mentioned it. And surprisingly, I'm surprised I hadn't, but mainly because it hadn't been on like a Netflix or Hulu, or anything like the streaming services I normally watch. I think we found it on Shudder, if I'm not mistaken. So, I don't think it's anything, honestly, that I may have ever found unless you had told me about it.
Right.
So.
And I didn't hear about it until Chris Jericho mentioned it. So.
Gotcha.
What about clowns?
Well, see, he's up there with the gorier clowns. He's not up there with like the iconic ones, like It as an example, and a couple others I can't name.
Well, I mean, the clowns. You've got Bozo the clown.
Oh yeah, you got. If we're talking real life, you had John Wayne Gacy,
Yeah. What was his name?
Pogo,
Pogo the clown.
I think. Let me double check that.
All right, you've got Bozo the clown. You've got Pogo the clown, who's famous for
Killer clowns from outer space.
killer clowns from outer space. You've got Pennywise.
Yep.
You've got the drunk clown from Uncle Buck. And I can't believe neither one of you have mentioned
The
it yet.
Joker.
Yeah, the Joker. The Joker is the clown prince of crime.
Mhm.
And then I can't believe neither one of you have mentioned the OG, the top of the heap when it comes to clowns. The Burger Lord, Ronald McDonald.
Oh, Lord have mercy. And I wouldn't have thought of that. I was thinking in terms of creepy clowns, horror movie clowns,
I know a lot
things
of
like
people
that.
think Ronald McDonald is a creepy clown.
He is kind of creepy.
Ronald's heart of gold.
Yeah.
Brings joy to millions of people on a daily basis.
Yep.
With E. coli infested hamburgers and chicken McNuggets, Happy Meals.
And coffee that's garbage.
And ice cream machines that don't work.
Yeah, you can't forget about those.
I'm going to say no. I think he's getting there.
He's getting to the top, but not like above like the iconic ones.
Yeah, he's not.
I mean, for this generation, yeah, he's iconic, but for 80s, 90s, 70s, he's not there.
Yeah, he's not quite there yet. He's not on Ronald's level or Bozo's level.
I mentioned Ronald McDonald, man.
So John Wayne Gacy's clown name was Pogo the Clown. I thought it was, but I just wanted to double check.
Do you think Art's in the Clown Hall of Fame yet?
No, absolutely not. In horror movie speak, yes.
Well, there's really only been him and...
Well, but you're naming like Ronald McDonald and various clowns. If we're talking about horror movies, yes. If we're talking about overall, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. How can you top John Wayne Gacy? There's just no...
how could you top Ronald McDonald?
How could you top Joker? I mean, that's an iconic, comic book character.
Right.
So, it's horror movies, yes. But overall, no.
The last one I have is horror movie icons, like characters that are classic horror characters. Not yet.
No, I agree.
Not yet.
I think for your generation, I would definitely say yes.
Most definitely, yeah. Because
I think he's become more popular through like TikTok than anything. Because even people I know, when you were going to be Art the Clown for Halloween, had no idea that's what his name was. But when I say, that creepy clown on TikTok that they do,
They
a lot
knew
of
who that was.
like, oh, that's who he's going to
By his image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I wouldn't put him like with Freddy and Jason.
no, he's not.
Michael Myers yet.
He's not with those, especially. He's not at the top of the top. He's maybe with Saul, some of the other characters. He's not with the ones that you mentioned, Ghostface, and others.
Yeah, I'd probably put him, I would say, for me, and there's like a tier that's Norman Bates,
Oh, yeah.
Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, Ghostface, and I would say I want to put Hannibal Lecter on there, but I've never really considered Silence of the Lambs a horror movie. I've always called it a psychological thriller.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But then like there's that next level. There's like Chucky, probably Pinhead. I'd put Art the Clown in that.
Yeah, he's in that.
Yeah.
I agree with that, yeah.
And then, with like Jigsaw and them guys. So, he's not quite there yet. I think if they do a Terrifier 4, and that's a hit, I think.
Go ahead.
I think that could push him into that.
Okay. I would agree.
And I seen something online. It said before Terrifier 3 came out, in the preview of it, Damien Leone was talking about releasing a Terrifier 4 if Terrifier 3 does good.
Okay.
Which It has done good.
Yeah,
so
it's
far.
done incredibly well. So yeah, so most likely we're going to get another one.
100% probably. That's not. It's maybe, but it's like 75%, right?
75% is going to happen.
Why do you think you're going to get a Terrifier 4?
Because this third one's been so successful.
Like
I said, I think it's close to $60 million box office, and I think it only cost them a couple $1 million to make it.
Wow, that's awesome.
So yeah, that's the thing with horror movies. That's why there's always so many horror movies, is because they're cheap to make and they almost always turn a profit.
Mm-hmm. Right. Especially if they come out around Halloween, or, if you have a horror movie that comes out around Christmas and it's a Christmas horror movie, those tend to do well for the most part. So
we should do for December, if we go see Terrifier 3, we'll do a fucked up Christmas movie month. We'll do Terrifier 3 for Christmas.
Okay, we can do that.
Will do.
The last one I got is the Finding Forrester You're the Man Now Dog Award for the life lesson you take from this movie. I think it's pretty simple, but I want to hear what you guys... Is there a life lesson you take from this movie?
Not to be a killer clown. That's mine.
Not to be a killer clown?
Or not to be a killer, I should say.
Okay, well, so not to be a killer.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Mine was like, don't fuck around with clowns.
Yeah, especially if they don't talk, you're screwed.
Yeah, just let's make an exit stage left. Is there anything you taken away from this movie?
Yeah, so life lesson from this movie would be trust your gut instinct, because Tara just knew something was wrong with Art when he came in and he sat down in that booth. And he had that big black garbage bag. It made this kind of squishy, soft sound when he set it down. He didn't order anything. He just sat there staring at them, making, odd facial expressions that were humorous, just never taking his eyes, not speaking, just miming. And then Dawn just thought he was hilarious and put him on her Instagram. I'm guessing it was Instagram, and acted like it was all a joke. And Tara tried to tell her there's something not right about him. He's creepy. Even after he got kicked out into the street, he was still staring in there. So yeah, listen to your gut. That's the life lesson that I took.
I love how that bit came full circle later on in the movie, because after he kills Tara, he takes a selfie of himself with her life, like her body cut in half.
Yep.
But yeah, that's my life lesson, dude. Just don't fuck around with clowns.
You mean Dawn?
Yeah,
what?
Dawn.
Oh yeah. Did he take a selfie with her?
Yeah, he takes a selfie of her, of him and her together after he's cut her in half.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, but that would be my life lesson as well. Just trust your gut. Don't fuck around killer clowns.
Yeah.
Don't be a killer.
Bingo.
Don't be a killer.
All right.
Be a lover.
Good stuff, guys. Well, thank you for coming on and talking a little Terrifier. I figured if we ever did this movie that you two would be the two people I'd want to join me on the show, since we're all such big fans of the franchise.
Most definitely, yes.
So thanks for coming on, guys.
You're welcome.
We hope you guys and gals enjoy this episode of the Couch Brotato Podcast. Please give us a follow on our social medias. I will leave the links for those in the show description. If you like what you heard today or on any of our previous episodes, please be kind to leave us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, show ideas, hit us up on our email, couchbrotatopodcast@gmail.com. So that'll be it for this week. Until next week, we will talk to you guys and gals later.
Bye.
Adios.